There's a question that's come up today about whether or not Keir Starmer is having some sort of vocal coaching. I hope he is. I've certainly noticed a change, and the Daily Telegraph has done an article today suggesting that there's been a change in his vocal delivery. And it's only wise to have coaching. Mrs. Thatcher definitely is probably one of the most famous subjects for vocal coaching, and initially she denied it, as we see in this rather interesting video from, I think, 1979. Listen to this one.
How important has the advice of Gordon Reese been in the way you've presented yourself in this campaign?
Do you know, I think he's consulted me, not I him. I think it's always been that way round.
And it said that Gordon Reese gave you humming lessons to improve the way you spoke.
Humming lessons? I'm not a very good hummer. I just know that when you do get
I mean, your
taught,
voice is much lower than,
yes,
than it used to be.
Well, yes, I'm not quite sure why. Whether it is the ones using it more. But I have often been conscious that at times when I've been very, very, very nervous, your voice rises. It does, you know. And now sometimes I learn to write on the top of a speech, start low, relax, don't go too slow. And then they said I was going too fast. Anyway, I just go the speed I like now.
And Thatcher was specifically referring to Gordon Reese, who was a sort of dour Yorkshireman. He had actually also gone to a public school called Ratcliffe College, and he was determined. He was determined to. He had a background in journalism, but he was determined to mould Thatcher, and he brought in Tim Bell, the ad executive, Ronald Millar, the speechwriter. She didn't always listen to these people. She didn't always listen to Ronald Millar, or she didn't understand him. The famous speech at the conference where she says, "You turn if you want to." The line was a pun on a wonderful play called The Lady's Not for Burning. But she got it wrong. She said, "You turn if you want to. The lady is not for turning." So the joke misfired. There was also a joke about the dead parrot, and she said, "Don't understand this." And they said, "Oh, it's Monty Python." "Ah, is he one of us?" And so the problem with Thatcher was she had no background in the cultural ephemera. And I think personally that it's the ephemeral that defines us. It's the incidental, the ragbag of earworms that we remember on a more regular basis than indeed the stuff that we sit down and learn. And probably, I think the sweet papers of today are the archaeology of tomorrow, and we will be assessed on the stuff that we threw away and we thought was not important. And the way we speak, the intonation, is therefore very significant. And it's not just that you're creating some sort of Frankenstein, some sort of Pygmalion type My Fair Lady thing. Ideally, people like Kate Flemming, who I think was the first vocal coach to work with Thatcher as she moved from opposition into Number 10, was trying to realise something about the real character of the future Prime Minister. And Stuart Pearce certainly talks. I mean, he's very reticent about what he did. He only had 4 or 5 meetings with her in his flat in Chelsea, a little bit like the King's Speech. And as far as I know, he was instrumental in getting her to straighten out her hair, to drink beef tea or something, to sort out the tempo in her voice. So Kate Flemming had lowered the voice by doing humming, which we saw in the video clip, but it was Stuart Pearce which helped to slow her down Stuart Pearce was the master of voice at the Globe Theatre from 1998 to 2008. He was also instrumental in helping Princess Diana, Vanessa Redgrave, many actors. Laurence Olivier was also apparently on hand to help. But what Stuart Pearce provided for Thatcher was this rising cadence, that rhythm in her speech, which made it almost impossible to interrupt her. What he couldn't change and what he built on was the stillness which was already there. And I think with Keir Starmer, there's a lot to build on, and a really good voice coach would be able to bring the true character. And what you want in public speaking is an element of vulnerability to come through, but at the same time to have that base, that support, so that the nerves, the anxiety doesn't show in the voice, which and English is a particularly difficult language to mask that, because English is a language which is so dental and it's in the front of the mouth that your nerves begin to show. And so the important thing is to get the breathing right and to get the rhythm right, and then everything else falls into place. And Thatcher definitely, even when she's denying it, she definitely had voice work. And I think Keir Starmer definitely has voice work. And I wish Rishi Sunak would take some voice lessons and get some PR attention to his basic appearance, because sometimes he's all over the place. Liz Truss, clearly, also some people tried to work with her, but I think not professionally, and it wasn't effective. She still moves her hands like some sort of mad puppet, and I think all that effort was on her hand jobs, not on her voice. A lot more work should have been put onto her voice, her posture, and so on. I mean, she is a failed effort, and Theresa May is somebody who could also have benefited greatly from some voice work. So taking voice lessons is not about disguising or hiding the true character. It's about exploring and lifting the true character, so that somebody can become a person who can communicate better